light has come. I have forgiven the world. Light has come. I have forgiven the world. I am under no laws but God's. I am under no laws but God's. The light has come. I'm under no laws but God's. Well, I'm Miracle Willie, forgiveness teacher from the Ozarks, here on Thursday, March the 28th of 2024. What do they call it? Holy Thursday or Maundy Thursday? We're ready for lesson 88 in A Course in Miracles workbook for students from the Foundation for Inner Peace version or publication. The Light Has Come, which is a review of lesson 75, and then lesson 76 review, I'm under no laws but God's. Today we will review these ideas. 75, the light has come. In choosing salvation rather than attack, I merely choose to recognize what is already there. And instead of choosing attack, you're going to recognize that innocence, that love is already there. And that attack is not really a choice. Only in this world does it seem to be, but not in reality. In choosing salvation rather than attack, I merely choose to recognize what is already there. Salvation is a decision made already. Attack and grievances are not there to choose. That is why I always choose between truth and delusion, between what is there and what is not. The light has come. I can but choose the light, for it has no alternative. It has replaced the darkness, and the darkness has gone. These would prove useful forms for specific applications of this idea. This cannot show me darkness, for the light has come. The light in you is all that I would see, and name that person that maybe is trying to pull you back into the darkness in your mind. No one can really do that to you. But you can believe they can and respond as if it's real. So say to that person that seems to be triggering some fear in you, the light in you is all that I would see, and then name the person. Or you might say, I would see in this only what is there. Can we do that? See what only is there, which is love, innocence, reality, truth, God. And lesson 76 review. I am under no laws but God's. Here's the perfect statement of my freedom, that I'm under no laws but God's. I'm under no laws but God's. I'm constantly tempted to make up other laws and give them power over me. I suffer only because of my belief in them. They have no real effect on me at all. I'm perfectly free of all the effects of all laws save God's, and His are the laws of freedom. For specific forms in applying this idea, these would be useful. So if something kind of disturbs your peace during the day, you can say, my perception of this shows me I believe in laws that do not exist. Well, if you get to that place, you'll be making some big headway. If you can say, well, I guess I'm believing in laws that do not exist, and chuckle about it. Be happy that you're seeing it. It should be a delightful thing to see that you're making mistakes. That's the first step in not making them anymore. Changing your mind. Back to what is reality, what is really there. What you are in your native state as a little child would see it. I see only the laws of God at work in this. That's something else you might be able to say. You know, I'm seeing only the laws of God that work in this, and really make that be your focus. Or you might say, if something tries to disturb your peace, let me allow God's laws to work in this and not my own. So there's some nice things you can do. Do the first part of the exercise, the first part of the day, and do the second lesson, I'm under no laws but God's, today, in the latter part of the day. Be sure to do your morning 15-minute quiet time where you do your reading meditation, where you read through it for 3 or 4 minutes, and then close your eyes and let those ideas kind of settle in. Let the Holy Spirit teach you. Listening prayer is what I like to think of that you're quiet and you're just listening, just waiting for truth to be shown to you. You don't have to do anything. Be alert. You have to be alert. Be alert, be joyful. And if you're not joyful, then find out why and ask for help. Okay? All right, let's go look in our text reading for today. And we are in section 1 of chapter 11. Chapter 11, God or the Ego. We're talking about the authority problem, you know, where we want to try to make ourselves God rather than follow our Creator, who gave us our will that will make us happy. He only speaks for freedom for us, but He doesn't make you choose Him. You can not choose Him. You're free to do that too. But you're only choosing between your own happiness and its opposite, whatever that is. Okay, and we're ready. We're going to pick up in paragraph 4. We read paragraph 4 yesterday. While you're turning there, what all's going on today? Barnum and Bailey Day. Been going on for a couple hundred years, huh? Children Picture Book Day. Eat an Eskimo Pie Day. Holy Thursday, or also known as Maundy, M-A-U-N-D-Y, Thursday. It's the Thursday before Good Friday, day before Good Friday. In the Bible, you can read about it in Luke chapter 22. The Last Supper and the washing of the disciples' feet by Jesus. That was all on Holy Thursday, or the Last Supper. National Black Forest Cake Day. National Hot Tub Day. National Triglycerides Day. Piano Day. Respect Your Cat Day. Something on a Stick Day. Virtual Advocacy Day. Weed Appreciation Day. I kind of looked that one up, wondering what they were talking about. But basically, it's just a day to become more familiar with all the herbs and plant life in your world, which I think is something you'd be good to do on a daily basis. Know about your plant life around you. Weed Appreciation Day today. And Ramadan continues, so as well as does Lent. Okay, now we're ready for in edible landscaping, another raspberry. This is a Rubus occidentalis, and it's the jewel black raspberry. Look what it says about the jewel black raspberry. Vigorous and erect, jewel black raspberry adapts to many areas. Large berries of excellent flavor. Ripens early, about June 5th at the nursery, which is in Virginia, Zone 7. The plants are pretty in the growing season. In winter, leafless arching canes are purplish red, usually with their tips in the ground, producing another plant. Black raspberries are the first raspberries to ripen in the spring, a good reason to include them in your gardening plans. Black raspberries are native to the U.S. and can be found growing along fields and fences and along wooded areas. Good soil, mulch, and ample water foster success with one of the best treats in the spring. Space 4-foot circles or 3 foot apart in rows 5 foot wide. Zones 5 through 8. So all through the Ozarks you can do well with your jewel black raspberry, early treat of the spring, he says. And in Permaculture for Beginners by Carrie Mitchell, we're in Chapter 5, Plant Placement. And this next section that she's going to start talking about is the blank canvas. And basically what she's suggesting that you do, if you don't have any obvious starting points, like already something there, a house or a location where you want to build zone 0 is your home site generally. It's right there close where your starting point. So she says you need to define your 0 point and then build everything around that. And also, I had a really good NDE I watched. It was only 10 minutes and 46 seconds. A lady named Jules, or Julian Del Cano Kennard, woman dies of heart attack, shown the cosmos and the purpose of the human experience. The Other Side NDE video. And I liked her, what she learned in this was very transformative for her. And she learned a lot right along the lines of what we're learning and understanding. So I'd encourage you to take the 10 minutes to listen to her. Jules. Okay, in lesson 88, we're saying, the light has come. I am under no laws but God's. And our lesson, or our text reading for today is paragraph 4 in chapter 11, God or the Ego, section 1, or Roman numeral 1, the gifts of fatherhood. Paragraph 4, we read it yesterday, we'll read it again. Waiting is possible only in time, but time has no meaning. You who made delay can leave time behind simply by recognizing that neither beginning nor ending were created by the Eternal, who placed no limits on his creation or upon those who create like him. You do not know this simply because you have tried to limit what he created, and so you believe that all creation is limited. How then could you know your creations, having denied infinity? Paragraph 5. The laws of the universe do not permit contradiction. What holds for God holds for you. If you believe you are absent from God, you will believe that he is absent from you. Infinity is meaningless without you, and you are meaningless without God. There is no end to God and his Son, for we are the universe. God is not incomplete, and he is not childless. Because he did not will to be alone, he created a son like himself. Do not deny him his son, for your unwillingness to accept his fatherhood has denied you yours. See his creations as his sons, for yours were created in honor of him. The universe of love does not stop because you do not see it, nor have your closed eyes lost the ability to see. Look upon the glory of his creation, and you will learn what God has kept for you. Paragraph 6. God has given you a place in his mind that is yours forever, yet you can keep it only by giving it, as it was given you. Could you be alone there when it was given you because God did not will to be alone? Could you be alone there when it was given you because God did not will to be alone? God's mind cannot be lessened. It can only be increased, for everything he creates has the function of creating. Love does not limit, and what it creates is not limited. To give without limit is God's will for you, because only this can bring you the joy that is his, and that he wills to share with you. Your love is as boundless as his, because it is his. 7. Could any part of God be without his love? And could any part of his love be contained? God is your heritage because his one gift is himself. How can you give except like him if you would know his gift to you? Give then without limit and without end, to learn how much He has given you. Your ability to accept Him depends on your willingness to give as He gives. Your fatherhood and your Father are one. God wills to create, and your will is His. It follows then that you will to create, since your will follows from His. And being an extension of His will, yours must be the same. Paragraph 8. Yet what you will you do not know. This is not strange when you realize that to deny is to not know. God's will is that you are His Son. By denying this, you deny your own will, and therefore do not know what it is. You must ask what God's will is in everything, because it is your will. Learn to ask God what is His will, because that is what you will. You do not know what it is, but the Holy Spirit remembers it for you. Ask Him, therefore, what God's will is for you, and He will tell you yours. It cannot be too often repeated that you do not know it. Whenever what the Holy Spirit tells you appears to be coercive, it's only because you have not recognized your will. Let's read that again. Ask Him, therefore, what God's will is for you, and He will tell you yours. Tell you your will. That's what you ask the Holy Spirit. It cannot be too often repeated that you do not know it. Whenever what the Holy Spirit tells you appears to be coercive, it is only because you have not recognized your will. 9. The projection of the ego makes it appear as if God's will is outside yourself and therefore not yours. In this interpretation, it seems possible for God's will and yours to conflict. God then may seem to demand of you what you do not want to give, and thus deprive you of what you want. Would God, who wants only your will, be capable of this? Your will is His life, which He has given to you. Even in time you cannot live apart from Him. Sleep is not death. What He created can sleep, but cannot die. Immortality is His will for His Son, and His Son's will for Himself. God wills us immortality. We cannot die. God's Son cannot will death for Himself because His Father is life, and His Son is like Him. Creation is your will because it is His. 10. You cannot be happy unless you do what you will truly, and you cannot change this because it is immutable. It is immutable by God's will and yours, for otherwise His will would not be extended. You are afraid to know God's will because you believe it is not yours. This belief is your whole sickness and your whole fear. Okay, let's look at this foundational idea. You are afraid to know God's will because you believe it is not yours. This belief that God's will is different than your will, this belief is your whole sickness and your whole fear. Every symptom of sickness and fear arises here, and because this is the belief that makes you want not to know. Believing this, you hide in darkness, denying that the light is in you. And the last paragraph to finish this section, 11. You are asked to trust the Holy Spirit only because He speaks for you. He is the voice for God, but never forget that God did not will to be alone. He shares His will with you. He does not thrust it upon you. Always remember that what He gives, He keeps, so that nothing He gives can contradict Him. You who share His life must share it to know it, for sharing is knowing. Blessed are you who learn that to hear the will of your Father is to know your own. Again on that sentence. Blessed are you who learn that to hear the will of your Father is to know your own. That should motivate you to sit quietly in the silence and ask God for guidance, meditate, pray, your practice period. Blessed are you who learn that to hear the will of God, blessed are you who learn that to hear the will of your Father is to know your own, for it is your will to be like Him. whose will it is that it be so. God's will is that his Son be one, and united with him in his oneness. That is why healing is the beginning of the recognition that your will is his. Let's read that last little bit again. Blessed are you who learn that to hear the will of your Father is to know your own. For it is your will to be like him, whose will it is that it be so. God's will is that his Son be one, and united with him in his oneness. That is why healing is the beginning of the recognition that your will is his. Healing is the beginning of the recognition that your will is his. That is why healing is the beginning of the recognition that your will is his. Are you getting this? Blessed are you who learn that to hear the will of your Father is to know your own. For it is your will to be like him, whose will it is that it be so. God's will is that his Son be one, and united with him in his oneness. That is why healing is the beginning of the recognition that your will is his. Okay, and back in our lesson 88 once again, the light has come. In choosing salvation rather than attack, I merely choose to recognize what is already there. Salvation is a dream made already. Attack and grievances are not there to choose. That is why I always choose between truth and illusion, between what is there and what is not. The light has come. I can but choose the light, for it has no alternative. It has replaced the darkness, and the darkness has gone. These would prove useful forms for specific applications of this idea. This cannot show me darkness, for the light has come. The light in you is all that I would see, and name the person that's seemed to trigger some disturbance in you. I would see in this only what is there. And then in your latter part of the day review, I am under no laws but God's. I'm under no laws but God's. Here is the perfect statement of my freedom. I'm under no laws but God's. I'm constantly tempted to make up other laws and give them power over me. I suffer only because of my belief in them. They have no real effect on me at all. I'm perfectly free of all the effects of all laws save God's, and his are the laws of freedom. For specific forms in applying this idea, these would be useful. My perception of this shows me I believe in laws that do not exist. I see only the laws of God at work in this. Let me allow God's laws to work in this and not my own. Okay, well, let's close with our song, and I hope that you take these ideas to heart. The light has come. And the way I had written this song back on lesson 88, I think a year or two ago, was I put I have forgiven the world in there. So I'll sing it. The light has come. I have forgiven the world. And back when he was talking about this in lesson, was it 76 or whatever lesson it was? The light has come, lesson 75. He talked about how the light has come because we've forgiven the world. You know, when we get really good at practicing forgiveness, all God's gifts come in to us. They're already here. We just start being aware of them as we lay down our grievances and we realize that we're under no laws but God's. Light has come. I have forgiven the world. The light has come. I have given the world. I am under no laws but God's. The light has come. I'm under no laws but God's. And our word from peace is from the Garifuna people of Honduras and Belize. And if I'm pronouncing it properly, it's Darangilaü. 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 Okay. The light has come. I'm under no laws but God's. Darangilaü.